Relax, the keyboard is off and the press box is closed, but the mic is just getting warmed up. Welcome to the Hockey Writers Ink, the show where the writer is fresh off the presses and the ink is not dry. Join your host, Lance Green, the guardian of the blue paint turned writer, and co-host SteelFlyers, as we bring you all the latest on the Philadelphia Flyers. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Hockey Writers Ink, a Philadelphia Flyers-centric podcast with your host, Mr. Lance Green.
All right, I'm excited for this one, Steel. How about you?
I have to tell you, my man, I am as well. We actually got some good stuff to talk about in this one.
Yeah, I think the Flyers, are having a pretty good swing of the West Coast, at least. Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. we got some good stuff to talk about on the show. Hey, man, look, it's great, man, because we've been kind of talking about a lot of the things that the Flyers have been doing really well, and some of that's kind of starting to pay off now, and it's really nice to start to see. And so we're gonna dive into the deep end of it right now, because here we go, episode number 145. 145. Wow. With the West Coast swing successful, the power play still lagging in last, though, man. And
yeah,
we the Flyers did really great in that West Coast swing, just like you said. They played the San Jose Sharks, which that was a loss, 2-1, which
2-1.
That's a dome scratcher. But anyway, and then go up against Anaheim and exact some revenge, right? Because the last time Anaheim played in Philadelphia, man, that was that was ugly.
6-3 win there for sure. Yeah,
7-4, 7-4. By the way, for the last time the Ducks played the Flyers.
Oh yeah.
But
Flyers
return the favor, go to Anaheim, and put 6 up on the bell against Anaheim. So that was good. And then the game just last night against the LA Kings, man, I'll tell you what, that was a spirited game. I was impressed with how guys played. The last two, even the San Jose game, but the last 2 games, man, the Flyers just kind of look like they're starting to put it together a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, I think so. In that game versus the Ducks, they were able to put up some goals. They've been struggling to put up, any amount of goals, that is needed to get past your goalie letting up 3 or 4 goals for sure. But, Urson was in net. He did well last year on that Western swing. And, like I've been saying all season, the guys that need to step up, stepped up, with Coots scoring a goal, Atkinson scoring a goal. Sandheim is surprising me a lot in these Western swing here, too, because he's stepping up more offensively. It's been known that John Tortorella, the coach, wants his defensemen to jump up into the play a little bit more this year, and he's doing it, as well as Walker as well. Walker is putting up some assists, more so than I think most people would get from him. And Tippett put in 2 goals that game, one being empty netter, so I'll take it, whatever.
So
but a goal's a goal for sure. But it seemed like they were taking on Leo Carlsson. I mean, he had a hat trick in the game, all 3 goals for the team, and he is just an amazing player, like we thought he would be. I didn't think he would be this successful this early, but we knew he was going to be a good player, and he's showing it. He's overtaking the Trevor Zegras and everybody else that's out there who in prospects already. He's jumping up right into play. But during that Kings game, there was a lot of good things that I seen as well. I like the fact that Peterson was able to come in and play his old team and get a win out. I think that boosted his self-confidence, because his numbers down in the AHL were not that great with the Phantoms. No. And another person who came up big was Frost. Okay, we all know that me and Steel aren't the biggest Frost fans, but I think that Tortorella's benching of him and making him sit out as a healthy scratch has lit a fire under his butt. And I
We
think
hope.
that is what, was needed. Tortorella is a guy that's misunderstood in a lot of ways, and he is not really going to do that to a player if he does not think that they can get more out of their game, and Frost has been a guy that's in question, is kind of coming to camp, and he's living off his talents, his natural born talents, but he really hasn't been that guy that goes that extra mile, in practices and all that stuff that you see out of the couturiers and stuff like that that come in before and leave after everybody else leaves. And I think Tortorella is pushing him. Uh, he expects more out of Frost. And yes, Frost did have an okay season last year, being that Couturier and Hayes and everybody else has been the past couple of seasons been injured. So he's been given that opportunity. He produced last year playing on that top line, that second line. But let's face it, Couturier's back and Lawton's solidified on that second line. He's going to need to produce from a lesser line. And he's going to be able to. He needs to step up his game, and last night he did that.
Yeah.
Putting in 2 goals, and this is what the Flyers need of him if he's going to stay in this lineup. Because I mean, like we said before in my articles and on this show, the Flyers have a pretty set defensively. Four centers right down the line, and Coots, Lawton, Noah Cates, and Ryan Poling. Down the middle. It's solid. It's one of the most solid 4 guys defensively that is in the league right now. And the Flyers defensively, and the Flyers need this. Like I said in past articles, if they're going to win some games this year, they don't have that lights out player. Of course, Owen Tippett is out there and everything else, and Joel Farabee's coming back. Healthy. TK is there. Coots is there. Atkinson's looking healthy. There is a lot of offense that this team has, and saying that, Steel, I think we should start to take a look at some of our other topics here, and that is, why is the power play so darn bad? If all this is beginning to click again, right?
Yeah.
There's no excuse why these guys aren't producing now.
Yeah, so you mean to tell me that there's talent on this team other than just TK?
There is.
Really? There's talent on this team? You mean like Sean Couturier, a Selke Award-winning player, Cam Atkinson. What do you know? That's a pretty talented player.
Joel Farabee's coming back healthy now.
Talented player. There's a lot of talent on this team.
Bobby Brink is firing early.
You know what? Look, if you took this quote unquote untalented team, I guarantee you that if you put some of these guys on other teams, it would make some of those other teams better. If you drop a Sean Couturier or a Cam Atkinson or a TK on any number of teams, those teams would instantly become better right away. Okay? Mm-hmm. So to sit there and say that this team doesn't have talent is, dare I say, asinine? Yeah, I'm going to say that. Okay. So there is talent on this team, but I think the problem here is that, just like you said, Lance, now this talent is starting to click, starting to put goals into the net, except they're not doing it on the power play. Mm-hmm. I mean, our penalty kill is middle of the road, 17%. Okay, it's like 77.8%. Okay, all right, that's acceptable, right? We actually brought players in to improve our penalty kill from what it was last year, because last year was a major problem. Okay, so it has drastically improved from last year penalty kill. The power play, though, has gotten worse. Okay, last year they were at a 14.7%. Okay, which was dead stinking last in the league last year. Now they're carrying 8.8% and are, I believe, if I'm correct, 0 for 22?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you read my mind, Steel. I'm actually writing an article right now. Right before we jumped on this, I was working on it. Hopefully, it'll be out within the next day or so. But you're absolutely right. The power play for the last couple of years, Steel, has been absolutely horrendous. And we talked about that, and a lot of people jumped on our case. The Flyers faithful that that they can do no wrong. Listen, guys, we speak the truth about the team. We want to talk good about them. We do. Obviously, on this Western Swing, there's been some great hockey to watch, and they're looking on the up and up here, as they're going to have to before going into Carolina soon and having to play a darn good team in the Hurricanes. But let's face it, guys. The power play is not clicking at all. For the past 3 years, it's been horrible. It cost Ian LaPerriere his job, and rightfully so. In that sense, it was not best suited for him. I love LaPerriere. He's a phenomenal player. I mean, he left nothing out on the ice except his teeth when he took multiple face
And a lot of
shots
blood. And a lot of blood.
block shots and stuff
And a
to the
lot of
mouth
blood.
to make sure his team won. Kudos to that man because he is a brave soul. But let's face it, I think he has 5 power play goals in his over 1,000 game NHL career. Probably not the guy I would pick to run the power play that year, and the reason why he got demoted to be the Phantoms coach. But even when the Flyers had the chance to better that and replace him with somebody better, they decided to bring in Rocky Thompson. I mean, guys, this guy, not saying that either one of these guys is a bad coach per se, but picking these two individuals to run a power play unit, I don't get it. I really don't get it. Rocky Thompson played 25 NHL games in his career, and he had 0 goals, 0 assists for 0 points. Okay, he had 117 penalty minutes in that time.
I was going to ask, how many PIMs did he have?
All right, yeah, 117 penalty minutes in 25 games played in the NHL. Okay, he's a career knuckle dragger. His resume was with the Sharks. He was the power play coach there, which his teams ranked 29th and 22nd in those 2 seasons he was there. He got fired, hearsay in this, but he got fired because he was trying to start a fight in the locker room with Evander Kane. All right? Come on, man. This is the guy that you best could come up with to coach a power play unit. As Steel in my article that's coming out, I don't want to give too much out, but I break down all these numbers for you guys, and I break down a candidate who should have been hired at that time but wasn't. Just as an example of who was out there at this time with some experience in this, okay?
Gosh.
Not that either one of these guys are horrible, but come on, man. Come on, Flyers. With all the problems you addressed and all the in the off season and all the greatness that Danny Briere and Keith Jones did, this power play unit needs some addressing for sure.
And we're not talking about Blue Cheese or Thousand Island, okay?
Right.
We're talking about the fact that a career fighter, a career player that only saw 25 games in the NHL, never played on the power play. And is now coaching the power play. Look, I don't have a problem if an ex-player comes to coach. There's how many ex-players coaching right now that are excellent coaches, right? Not taking away anything from the fact that he could be a great locker room guy or a great coach. All I'm trying to say is that a career fighter should probably not be the guy coaching the power play. Okay? That's all I'm saying, right? Is that really that difficult to ask, right? Look, you brought in John LeClaire and Patrick Sharp. Can you ask them guys to step in and maybe show this guy what a power play looks like?
I mean, it would make sense, right? As Steele said, the Flyers right now are tied for the league's worst with the St. Louis Blues power play unit. with only converting 8.9% of their power play this year. That's 4 power play goals so far this season, only 4. All right. In comparison, the New Jersey Devils, who lead the league in the power play, have scored 20. All right, that's a ways off the mark. That's a ways off the mark. Okay, and this isn't the only year that it's happened. It's prior 3 seasons, this year and prior to that, we
Yeah.
have been absolutely
Yeah.
horrendous,
Yeah.
and
Well,
nothing yet has come out to do this and
that's
help
because you
us.
had Ian LaPerriere coaching the power play at first, right?
Right?
Then that didn't work out. Then you brought in Rocky Thompson.
Yeah.
Look, is Ian LaPerriere a really good AHL coach? Yeah. Is he doing
He
a
led the
great
Phantoms
job?
led the Phantoms to the playoffs last year.
Great coach, ex-player, great coach.
Right.
Okay?
Great
What?
with young talent. Great with young talent.
Right. There you go. What? Perfect example. Within our own organization. A great coach, right? Wasn't set out to be power play coach, so he was demoted to video coach, right? Then that was not probably enough. You know, he's a little better than a video coach, let's face
Sure
it.
he is.
So,
Sure he is.
so they gave him the AHL Phantoms, and look, he's doing something good there, right? So all I was trying to point out was that, you know, maybe we should get a guy in there who's been on the power play, who knows how to score power play points, who knows how to set up guys, who knows how to coach players, how to skate the puck in to the zone when you are on the power play.
Right.
Look, if you just start with that, your power play will probably increase by 10%.
Imagine that.
All right. I've
So,
said
yeah,
enough.
we'll talk more about
we're
that
done.
next week or something. Once this article comes out, we can hit on some more facts and different stuff like that. But yeah, let's
for
move
sure.
on.
Let's move on. One of the things, though, I have to say is that, you know, even though we've spoken about this a little bit because, and you touched on it a little bit too, we're not the biggest Frost fans out there because we feel that this guy has been given multiple chances, 6 years now, and still really hasn't made the most of it, made the best of it. But comes back into the lineup. He had an assist in the Anaheim game, right? Which
Yes.
that kind of blew me away because that was 6 goals, right? And I'm thinking, man, 6 goals and all you get is 1 assist? What? Wait a minute. All right.
I mean, he hasn't been playing for a while. I'll give him that. Yeah, for sure.
Comes back the next night, plays against the LA Kings. Hey, look at that. He put 2 goals in. So now he's got 3 points, 2 goals, and an assist in the last 2 games, right? And he was actually 9 for 11 in the faceoff dot against Anaheim. Now, I'm going to preface that by saying he wasn't as successful against LA because the guy that he was playing against in Anaheim was Leo Carlson. He was facing up against faceoffs with. Leo Carlson had a hat trick, and Frost was still a minus player, even though he had an assist, but he was doing well in the faceoff dot, not so well in LA, but put 2 goals in. So he has, in essence, I guess, answered the bell, like you said, because Tortorella knows how to push the buttons. Tortorella knows what's going on a lot more than any of us who are not there in the locker room and at practice every single day. Okay? Right. So if the coach kind of has a feeling about something, I'm going to give the guy the benefit of the doubt, seeing as how he's done a pretty good job so far.
Well, I mean, seeing that he has a Jack Adams Award and a Stanley Cup ring to his credit, yeah, for sure. He knows how to get the most out of players, and if they're not willing to step up when that bell is rung for them, like Frost did, then that's when Tortorella has either got them to ride the bench and ask for a trade or whatever. He wants he knows what a player can give him, and if they're not going to give him 100%, then they're not going to be on his team. I
Simple
mean,
as that, man. Simple, basic.
I can't say anything against that theory. You know.
Simple, basic stuff. So here's the thing, though, that I'm really excited about, and I'm a little bit scared about too. Right? I'm excited the fact the last 3 games have played. The Flyers have played relatively well. They did outshoot San Jose, even though that was kind of a donkey of a game. 2-1, really.
Right.
But Hart still being out, they thought he was going to play in the LA game, and then I guess he was
Ill or something.
Listed as an illness. So I'm hoping that after a little break and because he went to the trip out there with California. He went to the trip in California. Carter Hart did, right? So I'm hoping that, okay, come back, feel better, have a couple days off, and let's see if you come back swinging here against Carolina, the next game on the road here for the Flyers. So here's the thing that kind of is throwing me a little bit. We get this Flyers team that plays like it did against LA, and then we get this Flyers team to play like it did against San Jose. It's like
a team that before that was horrible. It hasn't got off to one of the worst starts ever. We gave them their first win of the season. Yeah, that was tough loss to take. Somebody had to do it, right? Somebody had to give. They're going to win eventually, but that had to be the Flyers.
If
right?
you haven't scored in like 60 or 70 years, right? Come play the Flyers, right? Because you'll score. Okay, if you haven't had a power play goal in however many games, whatever, come play the Flyers. You'll get that, right? If you haven't won an away game or a home game or whatever, just invite the Flyers because you'll win that game too. You know what I mean? It just kind of feels like that. You know what I mean? It's like everybody has their records against the Flyers, So it's like, okay. That I think is more attuned to the lack of talent, with the Flyers kind of doing the up and down, or do you think...
It's tough. It's tough to say. I mean, we have the veteran presence that shouldn't allow that. But in Coots and Atkinson and stuff like that, they should be willing, these guys, to get up to play every day. But and as should Tortorella, and I think he's trying that for sure in his efforts that he makes not so hidden. But it's definitely, they got to find that. They got to win those type games, and that's what the difference is between a playoff team and a non-playoff team, is they win the games that they're supposed to. The games that are a toss-up, hey, you may lose one here and there, but you have to win the games that you should be winning. Against those, bottom-dwelling teams, like San Jose has been for umpteen million years now. So
exactly.
Yeah. So.
All right. Well.
What else do we have to talk about here? There's a couple other subjects.
I want to talk about this here too. And only because we finally got to see a little breakout, I believe, of Mr. Tippett. We finally got to see some goals, even though one of them was an empty netter. It still, I think, was a spark to help get him. I mean, let's face it, he is a 30-goal scorer. He needs to be putting the puck in the net more on a regular basis. And I think that he has now, because I'll tell you what, man, that goal that he scored, holy smokes.
That was pretty.
That was really pretty, man. When he just kind of backhand, forehand, right around the defender and boop, popped it. I mean, I was like, all right. That's the Owen Tippett we thought we were going to see, And even when he did the empty netter, he still had that good first step, that good, speed to get away, to get to that point to where he could shoot it, and great passing and everything else like that too to get him that. So, but we've been hearing about this now, is some contract talks now with Mr. Tippett.
Yeah, I think the Flyers are interested in obviously extending him. I mean, last year he scored 27, a career high in his time, 27 goals, 22 assists for 49 points. This year he has 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points so far this year. Like you said, really waking up as of late. But some contract talks for sure. He's amazing talent that I thought for years I liked him in the draft when he was
Yeah.
drafted. But Florida got him
He was
and kind of
buried.
sat on him, and he
Yeah.
was buried in the depth chart there because they had some playoff teams. And since the Flyers picked him up, he's really been gaining some rhythm in his game and some confidence along with that. But word out of his camp is he wants a long-term deal with significant amount of money behind it. And I don't know if the Flyers really want to get in talks of another like 7-year deal is from what I'm hearing. Granted, he's young enough, but man, the Flyers are still trying to work their way out of some horrible contracts that were dealt to Danny from even way back in the Hextall era, and of course in his previous administration.
Chuck Fletcher.
There, yeah, Chuck. I don't even like saying the name, Steel. I don't even like saying the name, but
Yeah, it does kind of
it's just
leave that.
stomach acid in the back of your
right there.
throat, kind of. But
yeah.
yeah. Anyway, I don't think the Flyers really want to get back into that kind of hole in a sense where Owen Tippett is definitely on the up and up, but let's face it, he had one season now in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years in the NHL that has been over 20 plus goals or 25 plus goals in that sense and almost touching 30. Last year was a great year for him. But like we said with Frost, a lot of key people were out of the lineup. And, for most of the year with the Atkinsons and the Couturiers and stuff like that, allowing Tippett to get that much more ice time. And Farabee was kind of hurt coming back and slowly working his way back to, where he should be in the lineup as well last season. So it gave a lot of opportunity for Tippett. And although I really, really like Tippett, I don't know if I'm comfortable if I were the GM and the person writing the checks to sign him to a 7-year deal. I would kind of want to see him at a 3-year deal, a 3 to 5-year deal maybe, if you had to push it that far.
2 to 4 years.
I would say a 2 to 4 year, and then he would still be young enough to really get that big time contract. At the end of that, and even if you wanted to sign him to a 2 or 3 year deal with a player option after that, or a team option of big time money after that, would be great. But
you can't backload contracts anymore.
Yeah,
you can't backload them anymore.
It's tough. It's really tough with the there's so many other leagues with the NBA and the NFL that can drop contracts like crazy and buy out people with no issues, or MLB and all that stuff. There's a lot more freedom in if you have a mistake and you can just get rid of that mistake, or restructure a deal to give them all kinds of money to just go away or something like that. It's getting better. It's getting better in other leagues to try to make it more fair. But in the NHL, it's kind of a lock. Like, you got to buy somebody out. You're going to pay for that mistake for quite a few years if you got to buy somebody out. So I don't really want to see him with a long-term deal.
I'm with you. Here's the thing, though. For the most part, though, I'd have to say that at least the NHL honors their contracts.
Sure they do.
Do you know what I mean? Where, like, in
it's
the
probably
NBA,
best for the players.
And the NBA and all that other stuff, man, as soon as you're waived, man, that's it. Or they can just drop you off and you're done. You know what I mean? Like, contracts don't mean anything in those leagues, like they do in the NHL. It just seems that way. You know what I mean?
Definitely better player union that is going to better. I mean, the other leagues get paid a lot more, obviously, which is great for them. But NHL is going to protect their assets and their players to get them to be able to get all their money and stuff like that. And even when somebody's injured, it protects them if they still have that contract.
I'm with you.
And such,
I'm with you. That's one of the reasons why I really like what the NHL does, and I like how they bring the players in. And this is why I wanted to bring this up, because this is kind of what I feel about Owen Tippett, where they bring a player in who was brought in as a trade. He was basically a prospect that was brought in. Okay, so he wasn't a full-time starter or anything like that with the
NHL
club.
ready prospect, yeah.
He was an NHL ready prospect. Came in and did great. Okay, so he's making not the most money right now. You know what I mean? What is he? 735,000 or 835,000 or something stupid like that? Or,
not a whole lot of money now.
right. So here's what I would suggest, and this is what I would like to see, and this is why I love the NHL, because the NHL does this a lot. I would take him. He's still 24, 25?
He's 24, and he's making a cap hit of 1.5 this year.
So. Even that. All right. Okay. Here's what you do, right?
Very affordable.
2 years, $4.78 million for 2 years. Okay? You give him a bump, and it's a prove-it contract, right? You got a raise. You got 2 years, okay? You got a nice little raise, okay? And if you want, then you could say, hey, team option, we'll pick up the 3rd year, and we'll pay you double, whatever, or, whatever they can do to increase or whatever. And then if you want, give him a signing bonus. A couple mil signing bonus, whatever. Now you got a young guy, right, who can now play his butt off for the next 3 years, okay? And now you come to the end of that contract. Now it's time to sign the big contract now when he's scored 27 goals 1 year. He scored 30 goals this year. He scored, 36 goals the next year and put up, 70, 80 points. Then you say, all right, here's the big money, kid. Here's 6 years for, whatever, right? That's kind of how I'm looking at it. I don't think if you go anything, I think you kind of treat him exactly like you treated Frost. Okay? You can't give him big-time jack money now. You can't give him big-time years now. You can't do that right now because you just can't. Okay? This team is too strapped. Okay? And there's other things that they need to take care of. But I think that's not even, I don't even think that's insulting his skill or anything by offering him that contract. Do you know what I mean? If he's only making 1.5 now, you just doubled his salary, right?
Right.
Per year, right? Now he's making $2.25 million a year or whatever, right? You give him a raise, you give him 2 years, at the end of that.
I think you're going to at least have to double it because of some other people, but even that, yeah. Even with that, but it's going to be interesting to see. I know the Flyers have been talking about looking into the person that really handles the contracts, and the money aspect of it, and kind of tells the GM like what they probably could afford over the next couple of years and all that other stuff. I know they've been talking about that as well, checking into that, but because I think I forget the person's name off the top of my head, but they've been in that position for quite a while, and obviously, some questions there even. And
might be time for a change there, I think.
Might be time for a change there. But like I said, in my article, I'm going to touch on some of that stuff that the people that they've gotten rid of, and really cleaned house in a lot of areas. But I still think there's more areas where they need to clean house and come back in with some fresh blood, some new ideas with people with some new ideas. So it'll be interesting. It'll probably go, obviously, hopefully after this season they'll get into those contract talks. But who knows?
I just hope they don't make that mistake. I just hope they don't step in their own doo-doo, basically, and offer him this big, giant, Sanheim-type contract. The only reason why I have a problem with that is that I just don't want them to make that mistake. Do you know what I mean? Because, look, Sanheim was on the way out. He was on the trading block. Look, all we saw him as was a liability. We saw this was a big, giant contract that was signed, and we didn't feel that the player was worthy of the contract, right?
Yeah.
What did Sanheim do? Sanheim took that fact that he was on the trading block, stayed in Philadelphia, got up with the training staff in Tortorella and the Flyers, and stayed in Philadelphia, put on 17 pounds of muscle, and now look at the guy. Look at how he's playing now.
And that's what I think is a direct effect of John Tortorella. John Tortorella came to him, especially after the Provorov left, and said, "We need more from you, and we want you guys to step
Can
up
you
on the
do
back
it?"
end and get into the offense." And he obviously has a drive to get into the offensive zone. And the best thing for him was that Ristolainen isn't his partner, so he doesn't feel like he has to
Who?
always get back. Right.
Ristolainen.
Exactly. Right.
Doesn't it seem like this defense is playing a lot better
without him in it?
Oh, I said
Imagine
that out
that.
loud, didn't I? Oh,
Imagine
man.
that. Imagine that.
Oh, okay. That doesn't bode well for Risto. Look, I liked the fact that he has tried to improve his game since he's been here with the Flyers. But man,
Ristolainen,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is an improvement. I mean, he's a career minus 176, and he was only a -4 last year. So
that's definitely better.
That's an improvement, I guess, over his years of 25, minus 25 and stuff like that with the Sabres. But I think Sanheim is living now and can play his own game and not having to feel like he has to cover so much for Risto.
Or
and
anybody,
I like
for that matter.
Anybody, because he's placed with somebody that can obviously hang back there and take care of his own in a sense when Sanheim wants to rush the puck into the zone. So
exactly.
I mean, you got to have somebody that's a yin and yang player and can understand that when you go, I'll stay back, and when I go, you stay back. It's not rocket science.
Yep.
I mean, it's not rocket science, but and Cam York can do that. He can play defense when Sanheim wants to go, and then in a sense, Sanheim can sit back when York wants to go. York is more of a guy that can fire the puck in from the point, and Sanheim is a guy who can skate the puck in and really dance around a little bit and put something in tight. So to each their own there. But I think the last point that I really want to make and bring up is Steel is the passing of a great Flyers goaltender just today in Roman Cechmanek, a late bloomer for sure. That only played 3 years with the Flyers, but oh my gosh, did he have some amazing numbers. A very underrated goaltender in a sense, being that he came in so late, but played 163 games for the Flyers, won 92 of them. Steel, that's a career win percentage of .566, almost 60% win percentage there. He had a career 9.23 save percentage and a 196 goals against average as a Flyer. Under 2 goals a game as a Flyer. All right, 20 shutouts. He had 10 in one season. What Flyers goaltender has even come close to that in the last 20 years? Nobody. So amazing goaltender. It really hasn't, details haven't come out about his passing. But
too young.
A great Flyers loss for sure. A great Flyers goaltender. One of the best. I don't know why the Flyers didn't keep him around for another year or two, but
he wanted the money and they didn't want to pay him.
So be it. Yeah, the Flyers weren't in the mood to pay some goaltenders there, so he went to LA for a year. But man, that's a tough
sad
loss there for the Flyers.
It's sad. And man, I'll tell you what, I remember those 3 years that Roman Cechmanek was in the pipes.
There were some good years for the Flyers.
Those were some good years, and you could always count on the fact that if Czechmonic was in the net, you probably were going to get a win, okay? Because he stood on his head, literally. And we got the infamous Jim Jackson. Carom was the thing that he coined from Czechmonic, because he would, like a soccer goalie, and head the puck, like purposefully would head the puck. Okay, I've never seen a goalie do that since him.
Yeah.
Okay, right, because let's face it, that puck is moving, and you're not really trying to throw your head out there to block a shot or whatever. But I've seen him head pucks, and we got the famous cranium carom from Jim Jackson, and man, he was one of my favorite goaltenders. He was right up there with Ron Hextall as far as I'm concerned, because when he came in, he was definitely shutting you down. Like, you just could not score against him. It didn't matter. He stood on his head, literally, to stop the puck. And, man, I'll tell you what, that's a shame, because he was, 52?
Yeah, he died, 52.
Yeah, 52.
Yeah. So,
that's way too young, man, way too young.
Definitely one of the best Flyers goaltenders of the past, say, 20 years. You had your Hextalls, you had your Pellies, you had your Perrant, obviously. But very, very underrated Flyers goaltender, and sorry to hear about his passing. So.
Yeah, that is a shame, man. That's a shame.
Right.
But I'll tell you what.
Still, I think we had a pretty darn good show there.
I'll tell you what, man, I think we did. And I'll tell you what, folks. First of all, we would like to say big, huge thank yous to all you guys out there for all the views, all the subscriptions, for follows, all that stuff. Because of all that, you guys have gotten us. We are in the top 15. We are 11th ranked in all of Flyers podcasts. So thank you guys very much for that. That's in the year 2023. The Hockey Writers Ink is ranked 11th. So thank you guys very much for that. Big thank you to Spreaker for all their help in getting us to all of the podcasting platforms, from iHeart to Google to Apple. All you have to do is type in Hockey Writers Inc. And once you see us, give us a 5-star rating and listen to your favorite show. And that would be very much appreciated. We'd like that. Lance, you've already talked about a new article coming out here. You said maybe today, tomorrow?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Hopefully when we get done here, I can jump back on and hide up here in my office and finish that. Yeah. So, but fingers crossed in that sense. It's hard to get time to write nowadays for sure, but as many ideas that are up in my head, I would love more time to get them all out. But we'll get this out in the next couple of days, and I think it'll be a good read. It's turning out that way, I think.
I have a feeling, dude. Listen, I thank you so much for all you do here, man. You're the editor-in-chief, the writer extraordinaire, the guardian of the blue paint-turned writer, man. I couldn't do this without you, man. And thank you so much for all that you do, Lance. I mean, the articles that you write, man, it's just amazing that I get the chance to read these articles, and I get to say that you're part of our team. You know what I mean? So thank you, Lance, for all that you do, man. Why don't you tell the folks where we can find you?
Yeah, guys, you can find all my stuff on SteelFlyers.com, as well as my Twitter at Lance.Green39. We have the Hockey Writers Inc. Twitter account where we post everything out about this show. And of course, Facebook, all your Flyers Facebook groups. I post all my stuff into there as well.
Post the show out there, too.
Post the show out there too. Numerous shows of ours. So thank you guys for following us, for listening to us, to watching us. However you hear our voice and see our face, sorry for that. Thank you guys for reading all my stuff. I appreciate it. I wouldn't be here without you. So I'm just happy you guys are giving me a voice.
So here you go, Lance. How's this for you, buddy? Okay, so last month things came out, the reports came out. So we had 48.9 thousand impressions and 22.7 thousand clicks.
Okay.
The leading articles were the Prospect Watch articles, man. So For sure, man. All those new ones that you've come out with lately. Some of them are over 2,500. So one of them was 2,700 views on the one. So.
Cool.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys very much for all that. You can find me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52, and you can find the Hockey Writers Ink on Twitter as well at HCKY Writers Ink. That's HCKY Writers Inc. on Twitter, and check us out on YouTube and, of course, at SteelFlyers.com. Thank you all for watching the Hockey Writers Inc. We'll catch you all on the next episode. Go Flyers!